There are some fish that get a lot of attention, and and rightfully so, either because they're very, very beautiful, or because they're camera hogs. They always like to get into the shot, and because of that they get a lot more attention than other fish. But among my fish, there are some that I would say are off the radar a little bit and just don't get that much attention. And certainly in this 300-gallon African cichlid tank, I'd have to put the Strigatus into that category. Strigatus is a beautiful fish, beautiful color and shape, cousin of the eye biter, except without such an unusual slope in the forehead. Beautiful egg spots, and you can see him back there. The Strigatus. Certainly there are a few more in this aquarium, but I want to make the rounds here. And going back to the 210-gallon, I would say that in this tank, the chocolates would qualify as a fish that doesn't get as much attention. I've got two of them in here, and they're just beautiful in both their shape and their color, which is constantly changing. I believe they're from the northern Mexico area. You can see they get a little bit of red in the body, sometimes browns, sometimes they go a little purple. Constantly changing color. Relatively docile compared to other cichlids. A runner-up in the neglected category would be the Jack Dempsey, which doesn't get a lot of camera time, and the Nicaragua. Nicaragua doesn't get a tremendous amount of camera time. Nicaragua can be aggressive. But another fish I would say that doesn't get a lot of camera time in this tank is the firemouth. See him facing off here with the Nicaragua. But he usually hangs back. He's a little bit camera shy, doesn't really come up to the front. There he is flaring out for the Nicaragua. I just think that's a beautiful fish. Picked him up locally. If we go into the Livebearer tank, I mean, certainly the EBAs, electric blue Ocharas, get a tremendous amount of attention, mostly because they're beautiful. But there's some other fish in here that are coming along real nicely that seldom get mentioned, like my cherry barbs. I have a couple cherry barbs in here. Most folks don't even know that because they're hiding most of the time. And there's some fish in here called red-tailed rasboras. Beautiful fish. Don't school as tightly as the more traditional harlequin, like the regular rasboras that you think of, but still very cool little fish. And as they get larger, their tails will show a little bit more red, and they have a bit of a neon stripe, a lot like a black neon. Just a very cool fish. Red-tailed rasboras. See, the planted tank is continuing to thrive, turning into a jungle, and the hornwort is just turned into just a massive mound of plant. I'll be breaking off some of that and putting it into other tanks. There's one of the cherry barbs in there, in the hornwort. There's a female that, she probably has eggs right now. There's a male, a very, very deep, deep red, almost a scarlet red male, and two females. I think the male might be back there. One of them was born in the tank and somehow survived and made it. You see him hiding back there in the plants. Very pretty fish. There was a lot of talk in the last live stream about these red serpas being very nippy or aggressive, and they certainly will go after each other, but they seem to leave the other fish alone. So I don't really consider them as aggressive fish, red serpas. And they're certainly not plant destroyers, since the plants have been doing very well since I took out the Buenos Aires tetras. And another fish that doesn't really get talked about much in this tank, probably because he's just so small, are the Ottos. The Otto Cichlids, if I can find one in here. I've got several of them, like 4 of them in here. And they're just really cute little algae eaters. There's one right there. Extremely passive, not like your Chinese algae eaters that can get a bit aggressive. There's one. There's another one right there. Very cute fish. Otto Cichlids. Yeah, these guys are definitely the stars. Over in the 90-gallon, especially with the recent outbreak of hole in the head, I mean, all the fish in here have been getting a lot of attention, but the one that tends to get lost in the whole time is it's got to be the red shoulder. Red shoulder severums are beautiful, and the red spotted, the gold severum is a bit of a camera hog, so he doesn't he gets a lot of attention. And is very subdominant to the red shoulder, but the red shoulder is usually hiding. You can see him right there. Beautiful fish. There he comes again. I should probably put some more severums in here. That might spread it out a little bit. You can see he gives this one a few hits every now and then. You can see the markings on the tail. But this is a red spotted gold severum. It's just a beautiful fish. And of course the geos get a lot of attention, as does the AC Hecali. And you can see that, by the way, just while I'm talking about it, look at the forehead on the geo. It looks a lot better. The marks are almost entirely gone. Almost completely faded out. So that hole in the head, I think, has really gotten under control. And again, a combination of water changes, UV sterilization, I did hit him with some Fritz Paracleanse. So a combination of things, I think, contributed to getting that under control. But at any rate, those are the fish I feel are really not really mentioned that much. Livebearers, I mean, in the Livebearer tank, there are definitely some very pretty fish worth mentioning. Especially some of the, I just love the red on the Mickey Mouse platies. When they, very often they're gold and yellow, but when you get a more red variety, it's a beautiful red. A lot of babies are making it now because of that hornwort. And what about guppies? I mean, when you really think about it, guppies are actually a beautiful fish. I'm not going to include this guy in the list because the truth is he gets a lot of attention. He's not camera shy at all. There he is, working his way through the water sprite and the hornwort. He loves hanging up, hanging out up there. This morning he was inside of his betta log, so I just fed him through the hole on the top of the betta log, and he just kind of hung out in there. Very, very cool. So that's my list. Have you spotted a fish in my tank that you think is being neglected or not talked about enough? Or is there a fish that you think I should do a profile on? Just comment below, and I will take it under consideration. Thank you so much for tuning in, and that's it for me.